and welcome. My name is Cheyenne Moraida, and I am the Healthy Brain and Aging Program Director for Cameron County Public Health. And today we also have...
Hello, I'm Vanessa Griffin, the Program Coordinator for the Healthy Brain and Aging Program with Cameron County Public Health.
Today we have a presentation on the introduction to Alzheimer's disease. So let's get into it. In this presentation, we will be talking about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, including what normal aging versus dementia looks like, what the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia is, as well as the different risk factors for possibly developing Alzheimer's disease or a related dementia.
As we get older, cognitive problems become more noticeable for almost everybody, and it can vary from person to person. Typically with age, people have trouble coming up with the word they want right when they want it. They have trouble remembering names, and they don't think quite as quickly. What's more concerning, or what might be the beginning of a memory problem, is people have a lot of trouble coming up with words or names, and it's happening more frequently, and the words or names don't necessarily come to them later. And then they start misplacing things, but not just once in a while, because we all misplace things, but more often. And it begins to interfere day to day. That should be a warning sign for people that this might be the beginning of a memory problem.
Dementia is the umbrella term for an individual's changes in memory, thinking, or reasoning. There are many possible causes of dementia, and Alzheimer's is the most common cause. Other causes of dementia are vascular dementia, which is marked by changes in the blood flow and the blood vessels in the brain. Dementia with Lewy bodies, identified by specific brain changes throughout the brain that include the buildup of a protein known as alpha-synuclein. And frontal temporal dementia, which is marked by brain cell loss in the front sections of the brain, or the frontal lobe. Each type of dementia may have distinct characteristics to cause specific behaviors in the individual, but there is also some overlap in behaviors among the types of dementia.
So depending on the different type of dementia that is developed, the different areas of the brain is impacted. And so this is what that video had spoken about, was in regards to why someone may be behaving a certain way versus someone else with another type of dementia. But when someone may have a mixed dementia, then they could be experiencing the same type of symptoms. But it is important to note that not every individual is the same with the symptoms that they experience.
Alzheimer's disease is marked by specific brain changes that result in the clinical changes in individual experiences. That is, changes in memory, thinking, or reasoning. And ultimately, Alzheimer's is fatal. The exact cause for these changes is unknown, but there are some hints as to what may contribute to an individual's risk. Age is the greatest known risk factor for Alzheimer's, and when we look at populations of people, we see an increased risk over the age of 65. However, Alzheimer's is not normal aging. Family history is also a known risk factor. Research has shown that those who have a parent or a sibling with Alzheimer's are more likely to develop the disease, and that risk increases if more than one family member has Alzheimer's. When we talk about the genes involved in Alzheimer's, there are two categories that could potentially be involved: risk genes and deterministic genes. Risk genes increases an individual's risk for developing the disease, but does not guarantee that they will develop Alzheimer's. Deterministic genes, which are rare for Alzheimer's, guarantee that the person will develop the disease.
It is important to note that the different populations that are at higher risk, for one, include Black Americans, who are twice as likely as white Americans to have Alzheimer's disease or another dementia. Hispanics are also at the top of the board, being 1.5 times more likely compared to white Americans. And then lastly, almost 2/3 of Americans living with Alzheimer's disease are women.
So now we're going to go ahead and test your knowledge. First of all, we'd like to know if Alzheimer's is a normal part of the aging process. True or false?
Correct. If you said false, you are correct. So this is actually one of our frequently asked questions where many individuals wonder if having Alzheimer's disease is a normal part of aging, and it is not. So it is known as a brain disease. So when someone is developing Alzheimer's disease, this is a disease. And it causes different problems, one with our memory, but also with thinking and behavior. So once again, not a normal part of aging.
Our next question is going to be, what is the greatest known risk factor for Alzheimer's disease? Would it be genetics, family history, or age?
Okay, we have some good guesses. We have some family history, and then we have some age. So if you did say age, you are correct. Age is actually the greatest known risk factor because unfortunately, as our brain continues to age, we are unfortunately not as able to repair our brain compared to when we are younger, as well as the exposure to different chronic conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes. So the longer we have that exposure, the more brain damage that happens to our brains. So it is important to note that after age 65, the risk of Alzheimer's disease does double every 5 years because of, once again, what was noted. 34% of people who are between the ages of 85 and older have Alzheimer's disease.
So now we're going to look at a couple of the warning signs. Here we have listed the top 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease or another related dementia. So the first one is going to be the most commonly noticed sign, and it's going to be memory loss that disrupts your daily life.
So as noted in the video, this isn't just something that happens on occasion, but something that is happening more frequently or something that is happening during important moments of our lives. So for example, an example of memory loss that disrupts daily life, it could be forgetting very important dates or events. But a typical age-related change could be where you may forget that name or appointment, but it comes back to you later on.
The second sign is going to include challenges in either planning or problem solving.
For individuals who normally pay bills, they may notice a difficulty in trying to balance their checkbook, being and staying on top of managing their bills now, and just having a problem with numbers overall. Compared to a normal type of aging change, which is occasional errors, giving someone a little too extra money, but then realizing, sorry, I did give you a little bit of extra change.
The third sign would be difficulty completing familiar tasks. And this could include something such as driving to a familiar location or making up a grocery list.
A typical age-related change, though, however, may be sometimes trying to figure out the microwave settings or utilizing a remote control, which sometimes they can be kind of difficult when you're using, one that has all these different new buttons and you're trying to figure out, how do I use this? Typical age-related change.
Number 4 is going to be confusion with time or place. So sometimes individuals will experience moments where they are unable to understand where they're at or how they got there.
Just being aware of, once again, the month, date, year, who is the current president, different things like that where the news is being shared, someone is sharing something and 5 minutes goes by and you may forget. Things like that could be a potential sign of Alzheimer's disease. But if you're confused about the day of the week where you're thinking, what day is it? And then you're like, okay, 2 days ago, I went to an appointment and that was on Wednesday, so today is Friday. Then that's perfectly fine. That's a typical age-related change.
Number 5 is going to be trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. So with vision changes, we might have difficulty determining different color differentiation, spatial relationships, as well as blurred vision.
Sometimes individuals who are living with Alzheimer's disease may have or see a black spot on the floor, and they may think that that is a hole. And so these vision changes that they're experiencing, because once again, the area of the brain that it is affecting makes them believe that that black spot on the floor is a hole, and they will not want to step near that. And so this is where caregivers may notice a struggle or a challenge in trying to get their loved one to walk or to get up because of the vision changes that they're experiencing. But if you are experiencing vision changes because of glaucoma, cataracts, then that's a normal aging-related change.
Number 6 would be new problems with words in either speaking or with writing. So some individuals might find it difficult to recover a word, a familiar word that they typically don't have any issues with. They might even have trouble keeping up with a conversation. They might stop mid-conversation and be unaware of how to continue or what they were talking about, or they might be repeating the same word or phrase over and over again.
So sometimes, individuals may ask for a common item like a pen or a pencil, and the word isn't coming to their head, and they'll be asking, for the rock. Give me the rock. And, you grab a rock and you're like, okay, here you go. But then they're like, no. Like, that's not what they're asking for, because once again, the way that they're relating the image that they're seeing in their head to the actual word is not relating. So sometimes we may have a hard time where we're like, oh, what is that? The phone. Yes. Can you please get me the phone, please? And once that word comes back and you're able to relate that term to what you're thinking in your head, then that is a typical age-related change. So that is okay.
Number 7 is going to be misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace your steps. We've all had moments where we forget where we leave things, but we're able to trace our steps back and remember or recover those items that we were looking for. Someone who's experiencing Alzheimer's disease or another dementia won't be able to remember those steps, won't be able to trace back how they got to that item. So this is something we always let our caregivers know to keep items in the same place.
For example, right, we have an area where we put our keys. When we get home from work, we either hang them up on a little keychain, we put them in a little bowl. We have an area, hopefully. But someone with Alzheimer's disease, may not remember that this is that specific area of where to find those keys. And so if you're noticing, keys in the refrigerator, a shoe in the trash can, or where items that shouldn't normally be placed in those areas are now being seen, that should be something to take note of. But if you're able to retrace your steps and say, okay, I went here right after I got home from work, I found my keys, then once again, age-related change. It's okay to occasionally forget where we put our phone, keys, glasses, but then as long as we come back to that.
Number 8 is going to be decreased or poor judgment. We do see this a lot, especially with possible personal grooming. A person experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia may not be keeping up with their hygiene, with their meals. So it's really important to keep an eye out for some of these major changes.
A lot of the times, unfortunately, individuals with Alzheimer's disease are taken advantage of and financially exploited, where they're cashing checks that they're receiving in the mail for fraud charities, where they are giving money to different individuals who are now taking advantage of them because they are aware of their cognitive changes. So it's very important to know that we need to protect our loved ones from financial exploitation, especially when they do have this condition. And also something that we do want to note is that a typical age-related change would be that occasionally we make a bad mistake, not paying a bill on time, or forgetting to change the oil to our car when we need to. But we eventually get to that, right? Because we know that it's important to take care of that.
Number 9 is going to be withdrawal from work or social activities. So a lot of times an individual may start not participating in typical events or outings or work events that they might have been accustomed to attending. They might now start be isolating themselves and withdrawing from participation.
So if you have that tia, that aunt, that cousin, that brother, sister, whoever, who loves to go out every weekend, who loves to go play bingo, who loves to be part of their church, who loves to do this or that in the community, and then all of a sudden you're noticing that they want to stay home, that they don't want to go out anymore, that is when we should take note of that change, when they're now wanting to stay home and not do what they normally love to do. A typical age-related change, some of us still work, right? We're still busy, we're still active, and sometimes we still get very, very tired. So sometimes during the weekends, we don't want to go out, we don't want to talk to people, and that is perfectly fine. But it is very important that we do continue socially engaging with the community and staying active, as it does help our brain health.
And number 10 is going to be changes in mood and personality. So this is something that we typically notice when maybe someone is ordinarily very friendly, very bubbly, and in a short amount of time has really changed to being very aggressive, very isolated, very angry. So it's a mood change, but it's a severe mood change in a short amount of time.
Many times the caregivers that we do offer this presentation to and the community members do bring up the concern that their loved one becomes suspicious of them. They think that I'm taking their money when I haven't been taking their money, or they don't know who I am, or they don't know who this family member is anymore, and they're just once again cautious, suspicious, and so that is something that we typically do see in those with Alzheimer's disease. Now, a typical age-related change is that, let's say you have a plan going, you know how to get from point A to point B to point C, but someone wants to change it up and say, oh, you know what, instead of doing this, let's go ahead and do this. Sometimes we get angry, and that's okay, because we completely understand that, once again, we had a plan and that plan wasn't followed through. So it is important to note the following. It's possible for individuals to experience one or more of these signs in different types of degrees, right? So one of these signs might not be as serious as what some of the others might be, but it is also important to note that someone who is concerned does not need to have all 10 signs to have this concern raised up to their healthcare professional. You can have 1, you can have 5, you can have 10, however many. If you have at least 1, you can bring this concern up to your healthcare professional. If you do notice 1 or more, we of course recommend bringing this up to your healthcare professional. And if there is any further questions about the top 10 signs, please refer to the Alzheimer's Association website that is here, as well as giving us a call, the Healthy Brain and Aging Program with Cameron County Public Health.
So now we're going to be talking about the importance of early detection and diagnosis.
There are a number of benefits in early detection of Alzheimer's. For one thing, a person is able to have a voice in what happens next. They can make plans. They can live life more on their own terms. They can also make plans for the future, financial plans, care plans. They can let people know what they want, which can be a real gift later on. It also allows time for families to make plans and to make decisions about who can do what and figure out care and those kinds of issues. Some people are interested in clinical trials. Clinical trials allow people to have access to treatments that aren't available yet. And for some people, that can be a really important thing to pursue.
So this video does bring up a very important point. We get from the community a lot is that, it's not curable, unfortunately, not right now. But this doesn't mean that there's an importance for the early detection and diagnosis part. As this individual had brought it up, it gives us more time to plan. It gives us more time to prepare, have conversations that we need to have before this disease continues to progress and this individual isn't able to share that information with us anymore. So our next slide is going to be talking about a few different resources through the Alzheimer's Association that we would love for you all to connect with if you do have any other further questions or concerns. This includes their 24/7 helpline. And so here you do see the phone number as well as their website, and also being able to identify all the different community resources that are able to assist locally as well.
We would also like to let you know that the Alzheimer's Association is always looking for volunteers. They have a lot of education information on their websites as well as their hotline. And every November, they also do have the National Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's. So if you are able to, we'd love for you to join the fight.
And these are a few different ways that you can also remain active and involved through volunteer opportunities, advocacy, matching, of course, the event of Walking to End Alzheimer's, and another event called The Longest Day. So please take a look for more information. If you do have any additional questions following this presentation, we are more than happy to connect with you with the Cameron County Public Health Healthy Brain and Aging Program, as well as once again looking to the Alzheimer's Association Foundation.